Cleveland Iron, part of the huge iron and steel-making complex of British Steel's Teesside Works. Iron making started here in 1854, but in 1993, the closure of Cleveland Iron was announced, bringing to an end a tradition of iron making at a plant steeped in history. So let's take a look at how the plant developed its role in the Teesside Works operations and consider the views of the people who worked there as they prepared for the end of an era. In 1850, in the Eston Hills on the outskirts of Middlesbrough, large quantities of ironstone were discovered by John Vaughan. Together with his partner, Henry Bolko, John Vaughan made this discovery one of the major turning points in the history of Middlesbrough and the surrounding area.
All the small plants were operating even as far down as Skinning Grove, which you come from Skinning Grove up to Redcar, and then from Redcar to Lackenby, and then to Cleveland Works, and then up to Cargafleet Works. And all these works were all alongside the river, all different firms.
In 1853, Bolko and Vaughan purchased the Tees Ironworks for £8,500, and the following year built the first blast furnaces to occupy the Cleveland Ironworks site. Ironstone was transported to the site from the Eston Hills, and in 1875, steelmaking commenced with the installation of the first acid Bessemer steel plant. The blast furnaces became known as the Bessemer Furnaces, a name with which many still associated the plant until its closure. It was in 1935 that the most recent furnace shells were last rebuilt, and in 1953, ferromanganese production was transferred to the plant from the South Bank Works. In 1972, the plant became the sole UK producer of blast furnace ferromanganese, and the furnaces then became known as the ferromanganese furnaces. By 1976, a variety of metals were being made and sold to external customers, and as a result, the plant again changed the name by which it was known, this time to the Merchant Iron Plant.
The first thing which really saved the bacon of this plant was the transfer of pig iron manufacture from Workington over here. And we first of all, of course, had to justify doing that, that was the right way to do it here rather than at Workington. And because Workington took all their materials from this side, in the end, of course, it was more economical to do it here. And so that's what really gave birth to what is now called Cleveland Iron.
Engineering developments have played an important role in the plant's history. The days of hand-charging furnaces by using heavy barrows and tapping iron into pig beds were superseded by the introduction of a host of technological advances. Steam blowers, double bell and skip hoist charging systems, cowper stoves, tap hole equipment and molten metal transport all led to increased efficiency.
When I first started here, and that would be in 1974, there was probably twice the number of people as there are now, making half the amount of iron and ferromanganese as we do now. And that's all part of ongoing trials. Not all that have been successful. We've had our failures, we've come through them, and we've gone on and used the best trials that we can for the best results that we can get.
New developments brought improved performance. In the early 1970s, there was a notable change with the introduction of oxygen enrichment. Ferromanganese production was increased and the coke rate reduced. Along with these improvements, the introduction of coke screening, ore preparation and refractory troughs led to a production level in the 1980s 3 times higher than that of the previous decade.
In 1986, we relined the Redcar blast furnace, and these 2 furnaces, numbers 4 and 5 furnaces, were used to make hot metal for the steel plant during the period, the 100-day period of the Redcar blast furnace reline.
In 1989, Cleveland Iron's No. 4 furnace was used as a pilot plant for the European Coal and Steel Community Oxy-Coal project. World record coal injection levels were achieved, and these remained unbeaten when production at the plant was finally halted.
It's difficult to quantify exactly what Oxy-Coal did because as a result of this closure, we didn't finish the trial as it was originally intended. There were supposed to be 4 phases to it, and we actually only got through 3 of the phases. But what we did do was in the plan, and we achieved everything to target as we set out to. And yes, it will have a big part in the future of iron making.
So let's take a brief look at how the Cleveland Iron Works actually operated. Ore for the plant came from around the world in huge bulk carriers to British Steel's deep water terminal on the River Tees, in just the same way that it still does for the iron-making operation at Redcar. Here, huge unloaders retrieved the ore from the ship's hold before stocking out and transportation by rail to Cleveland Works, about 7 miles away.